Kathy Vick, Deeply Awake, Jets 2017. I'm going to call this survivor's guilt, and I think it needs to be said. I've been getting information all morning. The crows have been coming to me a lot the last couple of weeks, and today they were out in force. I was moved to go to the grocery store in the early morning, which I normally don't do. I was in the parking lot, and I noticed it was parked, and there was a lot of crows. And they spoke to me. They came to me right before I had a big experience in 2014 where I shielded a nursing home from a tornado. And if you want information about that, it's on May 25 of 2014. Before that happened, I had a vision. Crows came and talked to me. They explained to me of a project they wanted me to work on. That project hasn't come to fruition, and every time those crows would come after that, I knew it was going to be a day that was challenging, trying, where I was literally creating something new with people, with my energy. So I would feel the crows after that, and I'd think, oh, I don't want to do that project. Ugh. Or why hasn't anybody come forward to initiate it or to assist? This is not. I'm not a crusader. I'm not gonna raise a flag and fight a giant. I'm not David. I'm not interested. I know this energy, and I will not be ground down by this machine. Nope. And there's the crows all over. So I closed my eyes and I just listened. And I realized there's a lattice all over the land. They talk with each other, and far away they were talking. They were talking in fours. Their caws were in fours. And then there was one that just stood at the entrance. And it kind of distressed me that it was so far away. It was right up front, and then all of a sudden, phew, as I closed my eyes, I could sense it just went on for miles. And when I got out of the car, they said, they're ready for you. They're waiting for you. It's not just the population that was being highlighted at the time. That was a metaphor. Things have been happening energetically in this thing that I wanted of this cleave, of just exiting the madness. It's become very clean, very clear to me this morning. Prior to 2012, I really was quite insulated, and it was because of pain, aversion, just pain, that I hibernated, and I didn't find any pride in my needing to hibernate, because I just felt beaten and like I was convalescing. But today I remember so much today about walking apart. I really had forgotten. In 2012, when everything lit up, I finally felt like I was finally going to be in company again. Really, for the first time in my life. The kind of company where I wasn't having to do stuff for people. I wasn't having to set or run energy for people. I wasn't having to stabilize energy while everybody had a conversation. I didn't have to do any of that, because everybody was responsible and everybody was as energetically powerful as me. What a relief, what a relief, what a relief. And I don't talk about it very much, but that's what my being in with normal people is like. And I don't like admitting it, but it's true. And in 2012, I saw that there might be a new way to do this, that I was getting amped up with this old energy I remember from the 90s, from the teachers, but it was so much bigger than that. It had its own life. And it got more and more intense, and I began to realize I wasn't going to be walking in solitary anymore. My family was waking up. Finally, my family was waking up. And then I encountered someone, and I understand that I had to, and with his help I did, somehow translate all of this into a human relationship. I'd never done that before, not really. Yeah, a little bit with my old girlfriend, but not like what he and I experienced. And I appreciate him being able to just hold space for me as I blossomed and bloomed. But it was structurally not sound, and couldn't be continued. And now I'm beginning to realize, because I exited this land of sexual expression and exploration and learning about the sex positive community and seeing how people can express sexually very responsibly. I needed that so much. I needed to be able to see that I could live like this and not be a monk. Because before, when I had this experience in the 90s, then sure, I had a lot of social stuff, but it never really worked out very well, and I always felt a little peculiar. It's because nobody else was like me that I could encounter, and now I've met people like me. So I had to figure out a way to not be in isolation with this. I was given that meditation long ago, very first thing, of being on a train, and I'm in a car with lots of people, and none of them, they all speak the same language, and I don't speak the language. And the sense of isolation and of feeling like I'm at a disadvantage because there's a whole bunch of people that can really pretty much do anything they want. And I've got to use my something else to know what's safe, what's not, when I'm being tricked, when I'm not being tricked, when I'm being given kindness, and how sincere it is. Is that really something that you hear with your mouth anyway? That meditation has come back again and again and again. They keep using it and mining it and mining it. And today, the message was that, there's a sense of isolation, sure. And in the end, there was synthesis and there was communication that was very effective and not entirely language-based. And that everyone was in accord and really happy and friendly and kind and light. There was no deception. There was none of that stuff. And they explain, this has been the sense of isolation. There are rules that don't make any sense. There's whole swaths of thinking that don't make sense. They never really have, but that's only gotten more intense. Down to the little chain on my keychain. It's a pink princess phone from the 60s. Little teeny tiny fob. And it has a little writing on it. as I'm walking down to the car, I look at it and I realize, this is really cute, and I'm pretty cool to have one on my keychain. But it's an icon from something that was created to sell something. And this is the way of it. Nothing artificial remains. Nothing artificial remains. This whole structure of being sold stuff and of my opinion being swayed, and none of that made much sense before. Then it did for a while, when I finally got physical again, and I got invested in a human being again, other than my son. And then, yeah, it's an icon, and it's cool. Nothing artificial remains. Last night I had a vision. It was intense. Intense. It's important to talk about these visions. While driving, I saw, I keep calling it a cage, but it's not really a cage. It's just like a rib cage, but it's circular and it's complete. And it's like made of that bony coral. And it gives structure. It's an exoskeleton. They said, imagine now, the density is lightening, and now the holes in the bones are getting bigger, and the bone is losing density, and it turns translucent. And then, again and again, they said, and then it becomes like rubbery plasma. And I could see it. It was in this liquidy, goldeny, glittery stuff that I see all the time. But it looked like that, but it had structure yet. It was rubbery. And then they said, watch as it turns into whiffs of smoke. This had given you structure. This had also contained you. But it helped you to walk straight and have an experience. This is what's changing. They've been talking a lot about crystalline beings. And when I was talking about crystals, I could have very easily been talking about myself. And although it came, silicon and crystalline, it's not crystal, it's crystalline. It's crystalline. But it can be solid, that rubbery plasma. And then apoptosis of these structures, the taking in, assimilating, and making healthy that which was foreign. Beneficial, of course, but restrictive, limiting. Last night, the energy was really, really intense in here, in a good way. And I began to rock. It was quiet. And I saw myself, this older woman on her bed, neglecting her duties, quiet and rocking. And where I went, oh my. It was when I had come into and become energetically a whale, moving through my Akash into this greater being. I'd stopped rocking. My eyes were closed. My son got up from being with Minky, and my eyes were closed, but he said, "Are you okay?" I said, "Oh yeah," and he left. And I knew then that I could go. What happened in me was here, and then down into my chest and into my body, is I could see the breaking apart like that. There was light inside, and it was like this stretching and breaking apart. And then it came down here into that, and I literally turned into golden light, and it was like from my tailbone through, and then I could see my physical features in my body change and morph, and I could feel my posture change. I saw my face change. It felt so good. And it was very exhilarating, and I said, "No, so is this it? Is this it?" He said, "No, dear." It was a dry run. It was very pretty. No more dips into, is this real? How am I going to explain this to my friends? What are they going to think of me? How am I ever going to manage socially again? How am I going to do my finances? How am I going to... No, it's just like this morning especially. Because last night I did a channeling, and how I used to live comes back to me now. Living disengaged from the major media, from all of it. Just doing my own thing. Not paying attention to what you guys are doing. Why? You guys meaning the nation. If I need news, it comes to me. The correct thing comes to me. Always. If I need a warning, of course I'll have my warning. If I need instruction, why would I not trust I'm going to get instruction? But the seeking, going out. No more. There's no need. And I was so afraid at a certain point, after so many years of isolation, and then connection, finally connection, that if I went back to this, what I know best, I would forever walk alone. And it was so nice to have relief and release from that. I don't ever want to be without that kind of company again. It's soothing to me. And it burns me I want that. But I have it. That's the thing. And it was, and a lot of this comes down to survivor guilt. Staying in this agreement field for as long as I have, which really it turns out hasn't been entirely that long. Wow. It really hasn't. And it's been bloody, and it's been gross, and I'm so glad to be out of it again. It's not me. Oh God, that's so not me. So not me. But I can manage I'm going out tonight, and I can speak the language. I can get along in the train car just fine. I'm known as friend. But it's not my native tongue. And I'm strangely untouchable in that company. Not entirely in context. That's what always bothered me. I just could never really commit. It's because it's not my context. It's not my identity. I'm a visitor. I'm a traveler. I always have been. But I don't travel alone anymore. I don't travel in isolation anymore. I don't travel in that level of purity anymore. Although I am as pure as I've ever been. Because there's more of that beautiful white crystalline light flooding me. All the time. I'm embodying more and more purity. That's very important to me now. I can't make this part real if I'm still connected, if I'm still feeling guilty for knowing about this, if I'm always turning down the volume so as not to bother the neighbors who really want to focus on grinding their axes and punching each other. No, you guys don't even exist anymore. Not to me. No. 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 And I can't go the rest of the way thinking that's real. It's not. That's dysfunction. That's a malfunction. No, it's not me. And I'm sorry you guys are in pain and distress. I'm sorry that my presence can trigger rage, fear, terror, and horrible behavior in some people. I'm sorry that my presence isn't attractive to you. I'm sorry, because I'm a joy, and you're the cat's pajamas. I can see what you're made of. But you know what? You can't. So, I guess that's that. That's that. I can't go forward feeling guilty for not taking everybody with me. I have begged and begged people. I've invited people. I've welcomed them. No. So, that's that. Certainly I have a lot of friends. But this next part I do alone. With my son. Asking me from time to time. Lovingly. Looking on. Are you okay? Yeah, baby, I'm okay. Thank you for keeping me here. I am a singular entity. I look forward to meeting more people who are sure of themselves, their worth, their power, their strength, their heart, their worth, to come, to be with me, so we can soothe each other and love each other. We can be kind to one another and gentle and open and free. And there are many who are able, but so few who are willing. The ones who are, that's who I want to be around. And so, yeah, there are some groups I'm not going to be around anymore. There's people I really will just fade away. It's not personal. And believe me, it's fucking mutual. And I would prefer things be easier, but I'm not going to assume the position of the troll, my precious, anymore. No. I get to own this now. I get to walk around and be this now. And I can't do that. Clinging to this survivor's guilt anymore. So I'm not going to. Because this is about free will and it's about choice. And everybody is doing what they want. And if people are looking at me and lamenting or wondering, or pulling me down, just, criticizing, seeing how I'm stupid or dumb or fucked up or dysfunctional or whatever. Okay. Yeah. You want to sit down and talk about anything other than that? Or you just want to do that? Point out the flaws. I'm done with that. I don't need it. That's dumb. I don't do that with other people. I point out it's not personal. This stuff isn't personal. It's archetypal. It's energetic. With this art, the ones I've loved, do you think they don't love them? You think I don't see how I've fucked up? How small, in my smallness, things break up? But I see the bigger picture too. I see the bigger probability rolls. I see the purpose behind the pain. I see the levels of the condition. I see the coding. I see the math. I see the reasons. And it's because of this I can say all of this to you. You don't have to understand a word of it. And you can criticize it all you want. Like I've said before, you can go to your grave thinking I'm crazy. When I see you next lifetime, look me up and tell me how crazy I was. I got time. I'm patient. I know what I'm doing. And I can't go where I need to go explaining the basics anymore. So I won't be speaking to the second wave anymore. This is about the first wave now. Maybe it always has been, but all through it has been. Come on, you guys, catch up. Come on, you guys, catch up. Come on, you guys, catch up. Live in integrity. Be honest. Look at yourselves. How do you feel? These are tools. And I know they work because look at me. And look where I've come from. I don't feel guilty anymore. This is a free will planet. I have been more than clear about what I am doing here and my purpose for taking to the internet. Yes, to break this isolation, sure. To engage in the first reverse autobiography, a new genre that will become quite popular, I'm told. Sure, that's another reason. But, or, to serve as breadcrumbs to help me to get here, to this time, to my birthday, to the solar eclipse, to that moment, when the coating falls. And I'm left with what Enrique said. Hey, somebody said, hey, Enrique, dude, once your coating's all taken care of, What the hell? I mean, you need this stuff to live, right? So what do you do? What happens then? And he would, but then you get to choose. I can already feel it. The probability's already coming in. I know where I want to move. And even just knowing where I want to move, whether I move to that neighborhood or not, it doesn't matter. The moving van's already out front. I can already feel it. I can already feel it. I can already feel it. And it's easy this time. And there's joy. There's colors. It feels so good. So, yeah, this next part is a different kind of walk. And it can't be any other way with the amount of light that is coming through, not in, through me. And I know I'm not the only one. So, hey dudes, isn't this a ride? I'm not going to be doing any more primers. We're just going to go for the gold and start talking about energetics and all that stuff. Oh. The constriction gets so tight. The pressure mounts and it just is physical. And then there's relief. There's release. There's ejection. There's remembrance. Not realization anymore. There's a coming into, coming home. Resolution. The completion is with this old expression. The new one's already here. So I bought donuts, and I'm going to kind of fix this dysfunctional place that I find myself. And it's been about not wanting to let anything go. Aw, that's so sweet. 32, 23. But now it's time to, yeah. And I knew I was waiting for, I was just waiting, and now I'm ready. I didn't know what was coming, so I didn't feel it was appropriate to get rid of anything. And now I can see what's coming. I can feel it. I can't see it. It doesn't really matter. I feel it. And it doesn't stop. It's not one of those things where you have to keep feeling it in order to feel it. No. It's there. I'm feeling it because it's emanating very strongly, and it's not going to stop. Oh, I'm so excited. So that's my energetic report, and those are my thoughts on survivor's guilt. I've walked with that my whole life. No more. Nope. You get to deal with your feelings, and if they're nasty, well then don't slime me. I'm not interested. Deal with your sense of self-worth, and call me in the morning.